Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. I didn't even know what that holiday was until I looked it up. I'm like, how about that? Interesting. So happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day for those of you that celebrated Father's Day yesterday. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Will. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. All right. So today's kind of an important topic because and I've been reading some of the, Happy Father's Day and like all these things. Not all of us, none of all of us had like really great experiences with dads, you know. So it's sometimes it can be a little challenging to say Happy Father's Day can trigger a lot of people, and I think that that's a really important topic. And in now Juneteenth, it kind of ties into that, the things that have caused people pain a lot in the past. So I want you to think about what. Good morning. So if you're listening, what we're going to talk about today is actually super duper important, and it's probably one of the things that got me through some of the toughest times in my life. And yes, agree. And I think there's a lot of us here that can resonate with having a father that was, you know, especially if you're my age and older. I mean, and I'm not saying if you're not, then it doesn't happen. But back in the industrial age mindset, back in that way of thinking of from the Depression to World War II, that scarcity mindset and that work hard, long hours, get it done. Like working smarter, not harder, didn't matter. Just as long as you worked hard. That's how I grew up. It's like just work. Just work. One of the things my dad always used to say to me was get back in there and drink plenty of ice water. Now he doesn't say that to me now because he hasn't spoken to me in 10 years. And I was talking to one of my coaches and he was like, why aren't you speaking to your dad? And I'm like, I'm not speaking to my dad. My dad's not speaking to me. He hasn't spoken to me since my brother passed away almost 10 years ago. And he didn't speak to my brother. They lived next door to one another and they didn't speak to one another for like over a decade. And then I hear my dad say like, oh, family's so important. It's like, it's really, family's the important thing. And I'm like, wow, like those two things don't go together, completely cutting your family off and not speaking to them. I mean, I used to send the Christmas presents next door to my niece, So happy Father's Day. Yes, 100%. Because here's the truth. The truth is, if you are here, you have a father somewhere. Then, somewhere, shape, or form, biologically, you have you got here somehow. And that's all. Like, that's it. They got you here. They kept you alive long enough till you could keep yourself alive. And even if there was abuse, even if there was really like hard times, I mean, my brothers got the worst of it in my house. I mean, I was the youngest. I was the only girl. So I was actually, good morning, Lisa. I was actually very lucky in that respect, and I could tell you stories about things that would happen with my dad. There was like a special place, a special belt in the closet for, that was the scary, like that was the belt that, he had for discipline. I don't think I ever saw him actually wear that belt. He'd wear us out with it, but and I'm not saying this to say, oh, my life, my dad, but I want you to think about like, how can the pain be a gift? How can you look at the pain at being a gift? Right? So I look at those things in my life that have happened. And I think the one that was the most impactful for me is when my miniature horse, Little Stu, passed away. And for those of you that have known me for a long time, you may have known Little Stu or heard me talk about him, but he was this tiny, tiny little horse. And I always used to remember saying, oh, man, take Dante. If you're going to take one, take Dante. Because Dante was like this pain in the butt. He was so challenging. To this day, after I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of horses, and Dante to this day has been one of the most challenging horses I've ever worked with. Now he's not that way now. I mean, he's just a love bug now, but back then it was very challenging because I didn't have the skill set and know how to deal with it. And that's the same thing with with my dad. Or if any of you have had challenging relationships with your parents, specifically your fathers, and that is really, what killed my brother. He was craving the love of his father at such a deep level, and he just never could get it in a way that made sense to him, and it destroyed him. And so I was going down that same path, and I said, wait a second, where's the gift here? Where's the gift and what is actually happening? Drop me drop me an emoji, drop me a little heart or something if you've had a challenging time with one of your parents. If you've had you've had a tough time with your dad, and I know a lot of us have. So I look back at things like that and I say, well, where's the gift? And when little Stu passed away, he was this cute little white horse. He had blue eyes. He was a Cremello, like my big horse Trace. And he drove a cart, and he had like these cute little hooves. I mean, and he was just a rock star. He was so well trained. Him and Trace and myself, we were like, they called us the three blondes, because we all three of us had blonde hair and blue eyes. And I was like doing performances with him, and like he was just amazing. One of the challenges I was working on was getting Trace, my big white horse, to lay down and then have little Stu jump over him while he was laying down. I mean, my friends were always challenging me to do all these fun, crazy things with them because they just had such a deep connection. And I would always go around going, oh, little Stu, you're my favorite, but don't tell her, don't tell the other ones. And it was like, it was really interesting that I kept focusing on if one of them's going to go, please just don't let it be little Stu. And of course it was little Stu that passed. And he was attacked by other miniature horses, and they kicked him so violently that they broke his leg in 3 places, and they had bit him all up. Like he had bite marks all over him, and he was really in a bad spot. And so I had to make a really tough call. And I still to this day have such a hard time talking about this because it was such a profound loss for me. But I was like, where's the gift, right? Where is the gift in little Stu's passing? Where's the gift in my brother's suicide? Where's the, accidental or otherwise? Where's the gift in the fact that my father doesn't speak to me? And sometimes when you don't see evidence of what the gift is in the pain right away, you don't see that proof, you start to question as to whether or not the pain is worth it. And this really is such an important thing to understand. If you are an entrepreneur thinking about doing your own thing, like have a high pressure job, or you want to do things that are not in the mainstream. If you're watching my video, you are not that person. I don't get very many people attracted into my space that are okay with just, 9 to 5, living for the weekend, working for the weekend and that kind of thing. Like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, it's the weekend. What are you doing over this holiday? Oh, it's a holiday. Because when you are an entrepreneur and when you're doing something that people don't really understand, or there's a lot of education around, like for instance, the work I do with the horses. Well, believe me, when you come and work with me with the horses, you'll make more money. How can coming working with horses help me in my business? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But what horses can teach you about personality types and communication and leadership and boundaries and trust and patience, like, are those skills that good leaders just in the world need. Better, stronger level of compassion, deeper understanding, clearer communication, how to make decisions quickly and change your mind slowly, how to be convicted, how to not allow the people that are not in your world pull you off your focus. I mean, those are skills that all leaders need, that all of us who, if we just even endeavor to lead ourselves, need. So when you look at what it is when you have something that's causing you pain, like an abusive relationship, or a crappy boss, or a job you don't like, or a tragedy happened, a car accident, losing a loved one, finding out that you have an illness or something that's happening that takes some of the wind out of your sails. Like, what does that look like? Where is the gift? Like, what if there was a gift even in the pain? And what if you did not know what that gift was? Do you have enough faith Do you have enough trust in source and creator and God? Do you have enough, whatever you want to call your higher power? I don't have a preference. Like whatever you call, whatever you refer to as your higher power, what if you could have the faith that there was a gift and even the bad things that were seemingly happening to you? What if that gift was something that would help you understand how to get more in alignment? Because had God listened to me and taken Dante instead of little Stu, I wouldn't have my programs the same way I do. Right? So it's really incredible to think about what you have going on and where is the gift. And having the faith to know that even if you don't have awareness of what that gift is, to have the faith that it's there, to have the clarity and understanding that there is a gift. For years, it took me almost 2.5 years that I wasn't beating myself up after little Stu died, because I made the decision to let him go to God instead of trying to save him. I will get emotional about this, because he had broken his leg in several places where he had been attacked, and I had to make the call on the operating table. And it was like, those kind of decisions, life or death decisions that you make. Like when he passed, like 2 weeks later, I saw like ways to a cart you could have suspended his hind end from for goats. And he's a tiny horse, not much bigger than a goat. And I'm like, there's these carts for goats that you can use to, that could have supported him. I didn't know that. Right. And so there's a lot of judgment that went around in my brain. I said, I could have saved him. Why didn't I save him? Why did I make the decision to let him go? Like, in those moments when you have to make those critical decisions and you're feeling this pain, it's tough to see the gift. And it's really tough to see the gift when you're experiencing the pain. But I realized that losing him really allowed me to step in to my truth and how I wanted to serve. And when he passed away, I have a sculpture that one of my clients from Poland sent me. I had someone make a bracelet out of his tail hair and like these beautiful Swarovski crystals that matched his blue eyes. I had people, letters, videos, pictures. People wrote me and said, I was inspired to get into horses because I saw you perform. I mean, so it really became very clear to me, like why he needed to go. Because it helped. It was in one piece, and I don't have God's eyeballs. There's probably 100 gifts that I'm not even seeing. But the one that I know that I saw is that it helped me align to decide and discover that I wanted to pursue this passion of saving horses and changing people's lives through the spirit of the horse. I knew that. And then when my brother passed, same thing. How senseless. He was 45. He's 3 years younger than I am now. 45 is so young. And he was a nurse, a father, he was a former naval officer, and it was really tough. Like, where's the gift in that? It seems so senseless, except to free him of his pain. But for me, I took it upon myself to say, you know what? There's other people out there that need this message besides just me. There's veterans out there that are suffering. There are women. To my heart, are women that have been in abusive relationships, female entrepreneurs that want to understand relationships at a deeper level. That's my tribe, because it's me. That's me. I've been in abusive relationships, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's really tough when you're in a relationship with someone for years and they're addicted to pornography and don't want to be with you and look at you like you're disgusting, and then you start going, yeah, you're right, I am disgusting. And over that time, you start believing those things. And so you think about what that looks like. Good morning. What the gift is to leave that, to have the strength to leave that relationship. My mother didn't have the strength to leave my dad. She's still with him. And we're like, oh my God, so brainwashed, right? And to break generational wounds and figure out that if something is happening, it is happening. What if life was happening for you instead of to you? Like, I want to go out when I work with the horses. I want to say, what can I do for you? And a great example of that is like Bella, my little Bella. She's so cute, but she gets worried a lot, especially when you put her on in a certain circumstance. It triggers an old memory of when she was at the rescue, and it's taken me years to really work through this trauma with her. And she still gets worried sometimes. And so when you get worried or you get fearful or you have um, vibration emotions that take you into a lower vibration state or cause you to not to feel not good, then you're going to come out of alignment. You're going to experience pain. And the universe is over here going, I'm here. I'm just going to wait for you to get back in alignment. When you get back in alignment, things can flow again. And that's a perfect metaphor when Bella is out on a circle, when she starts going off the circle and starts thinking she needs to do this or go faster or go slower or whatever. Bella, it's just a circle. Relax. And it always makes me think of that country song by Alabama. It's like, I'm in a hurry to get things done. I rush and rush until life's no fun. All I really got to do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and I don't know why. And a lot of times when we get in those hurries and we start to forget that alignment will bring you back to where you can take aligned action towards the desires and purpose of your life. And you won't feel those things that are painful as much anymore. And you can look at it and say, where is the gift? Where is the gift? Anytime you're experiencing pain or feeling a way that doesn't make you feel good, you are just out of alignment. That's it. And when you get back into alignment, like yesterday afternoon, I really needed to get some work done, but I knew I also needed to take that time for myself. So I just sat still for a few hours, so still, because when you can get still, you can listen to the whispers of the universe. And this is probably one of my biggest lessons over the last maybe 6 months. I've gone through a lot in the last 6 months, moving my horses several times, trying to make sure my life is, now I'm moving them again to a new facility, but isn't done because it's my place and I don't have to play by anybody else's rules because apparently I don't play well in the sandbox with these crazy horse people, right? So you go, okay, wait a second here. What is actually happening? Right? Why am I getting asked to move my horses again? Why is this happening? Why? So I just go, instead of why, say, where's the gift? And then if you don't see it right away, if it's not like something so glaringly obvious, like me being asked to leave the barns was glaringly obvious that I needed to find my own place. I have my own place. I'm moving in a few weeks and it is going to be home and all my horses are going to be like obvious, right? Like it was really obvious where the pain was guiding me in that circumstance, but it's not always the case, It's not always the case. And we look at it and we go, I don't know why I don't know where the gift is. I don't know. I can't see it. And sometimes that's true. But when you take that step back and just say, hey, hang on just a second, I'm going to figure out what this is. And when I can't, I'm going to trust God and know that there is something there. And I'm going to get still so I can listen. Because I wonder what my life would be like, how my life would be different had little Stu made it, or I had made a different choice. And there's a really great movie. It's like, it's an older movie, like maybe early 90s with Gwyneth Paltrow called Sliding Doors. And there's a really critical scene in the movie where it splits into two different plots, where she's like going down the stairs, coming home from work. She had just gotten fired from her job and like all this horrible things were happening. And so there's a scene in the movie where she makes the train that she's trying to catch. And then this movie splits off. And then there's a little girl that she has to step around. And when she does that, it causes her to just miss the train. So it just has this split second moment where her life has these very radically different paths that actually end up bringing her back to source at the end. Right. And so you look at that and you go, so she had two different kinds of pain, right? We always are going to experience that when we're out of it, when we step out of alignment. And of course, at the end of the movie, she gets back in alignment but where is the gift when you're looking for it? And if you can't find it, do you have enough faith in the universe and yourself that there is a gift and it may not even be given or shown to you in this lifetime? Do you have an experience like that? If you do, just throw it in the chat. I'd love to hear about things that are like, yeah, this is really painful. I don't know what this means, but I know that there's something here and I may or may not be able to figure it out. Right. And once you can relax and have faith and trust the process, you can stay in alignment a lot more cleanly and put yourself in a position to feel better, even when the world is melting down around you. Right. Like, I'll tell you, I'll just be honest. Getting into this new property, it has been it has taken an act, like really a lot of resources and effort and energy. And I'm so excited because I get to offer my weekend getaways again. I get to have my retreats again. I get to have people come back out again and interact with the horses. And it took a long time for me to get here. Right. So I want you to think about when you are experiencing strife or pain or you're out of alignment, ask yourself, where's the gift? And if you don't see it right away, do I have enough faith to relax and know that there is a gift? And the more you can get still through meditation, more you can get still and be silent for just a little while. It doesn't take very long. You don't have to do it all day. Sometimes you do. And just allow yourself that little bit of grace, even if it's 20 minutes, even if it's 15 minutes, but just being silent and allowing these thoughts and emotions to flow through you, you'll start seeing the gift and you'll start seeing what is going to take you to that next space. You're going to have a clearer understanding about how you can move forward. And when you start, when you're in alignment, I kind of look at it and go, you're a universe whisperer. When you get in alignment, the universe can just whisper to you, because I look at it and I say, I'm not a horse whisperer because I listen to the whisper because I whisper to the horses, because I listen to the whisper of the horse. Right. And then I offer that what I feel from my skills and my leadership and my communication and my level of compassion. I do my absolute best to give them the information that they need for their highest and best. And sometimes that puts them in a space where, they pull on the rope or they run into the stick or something happens and they experience something that's not super pleasant. And I want to be here and I just want to hold space for that and allow them, create the opportunity to allow them to find their own alignment so they can see the gift and they can start looking for that alignment, seeking alignment, seeking that centered space where you're in the middle of the river, whitewater or otherwise, right? When you're in the middle, when you're actually in that flow, when you're like, well, how do I get there? How do I get there? Meditation is one of the best ways. Getting in a theta brainwave state and coming from a high vibration, a clear intention, and feeling the way you want to feel. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. How do you want to feel? Right? And what do you want to have as an experience? Because we can go, because we tend to commiserate with our problems. We tend to connect through our problems. I went over to my friend's house yesterday and first thing we do, how you doing? Women do it the most. I mean, they call it mansplaining, but it's a very feminine thing to bitch about your problems. And we do it just to connect. We aren't even really connected. But what if instead of bitching about our problems, we said, here's what I'm dealing with. I need to be heard, held, helped, or healed. And then tapping into that and recognizing what the gift is in what we're actually experiencing in the moment. And when you can find the gift or have faith that there is one, even if you don't know what it is, in the moment while you are experiencing pain, you will find peace. You will find peace. And you will be unmesswithable when you can find alignment when pain is happening, when you can recognize that even if you don't know what the gift is right away, because we're going to know everything instantly, you can actually put yourself in a space where you feel the way you want to feel no matter what is happening in your life. And one of the best ways I've known how to do that is by getting out with my horses, getting out in nature, getting out to where I can be still for a moment. And actually, when I work with the horses and I'm feeling a certain way, they will help me align. They will help me bring myself back into gratitude and a theta brainwave state and put myself in a place where I can actually see what's happening, right? And when you put yourself in that position, in that space, everything changes. and you can rise above your environment, recognize that life is happening for you, and live a peaceful existence. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to rush and rush until life's no fun. I've done that for years and I'm done with it. If you want to come and experience this and spend a couple of days with me, get some alignment, go through meditation, understand what horses can teach you, reach out or come to one of my weekends. But I'll tell you, this is one of the most impactful things I've ever experienced. And the first time I heard it, I cried. What if life was happening for you and this, whatever this is, the cancer, the death, the car wreck, the loss of the job, whatever it is, whatever is happening right now in front of you, the world of the 3D with your 5 senses, what if that was actually helping you align with your spirit? Because the only thing that is permanent is your soul. We're only here for a short time. Find a way to have the faith and know that whatever is happening, no matter what it is, there is a gift that will help you align to your soul's purpose. And when you can step into the higher vibration emotions and recognize that through gratitude, through breath work, through working with horses, come and see my horses, go somewhere and touch a horse. Horses are powerful. They don't call it horsepower for nothing. And you can get still with yourself. That is self-care, because we just need to align. We don't need to hustle. You don't need to hustle. You don't need to do that. Align, attract, and do it from a space of joy and gratitude. Now, that sounds like a lot if you're like, if you have someone that's in hospice, or you're in hospice, or if something's boiling out at you, that can be a very big pill to swallow. So know that I'm not sitting here trying to like give you some sort of, rhetoric or hyperbolic, spiel. Go up the ladder if you can. Wherever you are, choose one step above and go there. And then choose one step above and go there. And ask for what the gift is and detach from whether or not you receive it, because it's there. Because there is a pain even there is a gift even in the pain. Trust me, I know. Have an amazing day, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you do want to come to one of my retreats, please reach out to me. If you're watching this, you know how to get a hold of me. And as always, believe in yourself. It will change your life. Have an amazing Monday and happy Juneteenth.